There's a lot going on in
I'm
today's.
just really thirsty.
Yeah, no, it's good times had by all. This is Are You Movie Mad? I am Andrew Jones, a cinephile,
I'm Johnny Ellis. I'm Movie Mad.
and this is a rarity because we're out of the house, we're away from the radiator. Jim Broadbent's not living upstairs for the brief time of our lives.
No, I locked
Jim
you.
Broadbent lives upstairs?
As the voice that mysteriously just said may not understand the continuity of the show, it's fine. This is a very special bonus episode. We've got a normal human person here. Please welcome everybody, Marc, the director of Nightshooters.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello. I was thinking, are people clapping? Oh no, it's just us. It's
I was
probably
going
for the
to
best.
clap, but then I had the microphone in my hand. So.
I'm holding it like, cause I'm worried that you're not going to hear me, so I'm holding the microphone. So I'm sort
Well,
of
you can speak like this, and everyone will hear you.
I'm worried about the echo.
Everything is fine.
Echo.
I feel like the old timey race. Like, okay, we're going. This is a visual.
Here we go. We're going down to the north, going over the first, and we're going over. Oh no, there was a horrible calamity, and everyone is dead. We have to shoot the horse. Let's move on, dear. Let's move on.
Yeah, I'm bringing visual comedy to
To an audio medium. He is a director.
There we go. This
So
feels good.
we're Marc Price here to talk about Nightshooters, which is showing in Leeds at the Leeds International Film Festival,
November 9th.
8:15.
That's brilliant. That's
Teamwork.
right. That's correct. Do you know what? I should have written that down, so I've got it too.
I
Just-
wouldn't do because I'm not stupid, and I don't want to put things on airplane mode either because I get scared of beep 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 beep. So
Oh, I've got this on
You've got
there.
yours on there.
We're
Good,
safe.
good.
Yeah,
I've
we're
got
safe.
we're professionals.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm working on
He's
it.
professional.
Thank you. Yeah, so Nightshooters, which is a new action explosive comedy. I would say comedy. There's so many laughs in it. It
Yeah.
skirts the board.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm good at the jokes part, but I like offsetting the tension and the.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
with some
I would say the new Halloween is a horror comedy. There's a lot of jokes in that as well. So let's
I haven't seen it yet.
and I would also say, 12 Years a Slave was a drama comedy, a comedy drama. I don't understand comedy. That's what I'm saying here.
I would hope. Well, yeah, maybe I don't either. We'll find out when people watch the film and go, "Oh, this wasn't funny at all."
I'm just picturing you in the screening of 12 Years a Slave now, just laughing away.
Oh, I'm Max Cady in this thing. I've got a cigar, I've got my feet up.
Slapping you, I get it.
That's a joke about slavery.
Welcome to the show,
Right in
folks.
there.
Hey, we're promoting your film.
It's
I just realised probably wrong.
yeah, we're terrible people straight off the bat. Well, at least whoever's left.
Speaking of terrible people, do you want to talk about your film briefly? Just give us an overview.
Okay, yeah, well, I've tried to find a nice quick way to summarise it, and
You can take a whole hour if you want to.
oh, I'll be good. I won't bore people too much. I've made a whole movie to do that. Nightshooters is about a film crew who have broken into a building to film pickups for their low-budget zombie movie, and they accidentally witness a brutal gangland murder in the building opposite. And have to use their filmmaking skills as weapons to survive. So the sound guy is laying radio mics all over the place so they can hear where the bad guys are coming. The special effects lady is using squibs and explosives very dangerously. The stunt guy is a martial artist. So yeah, there's fun stuff. I'm really pleased with a T-earn moment that the runner gets to use, which gets one of my favourite reactions in the whole movie. So yeah, that's quite fun.
Did it all come from influences of you being on set and looking at people going, well, if I was stuck in an apocalypse or something?
It's more. It's more. Oh God, I'm trying to think of the best way to say it. It's more the horror stories that other filmmaker friends have had. I've been quite fortunate. I mean, the guys that I work with are lovely. So
you were being recorded.
Oh yeah. I'd say I said fuck. We're all right with swearing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You said we were a cunt friendly.
We're cunt friendly.
As in we can say cunt, which is handy.
Ladies are not welcome.
Well, yeah, it's so I've got lots of foul language in my movie, so it's true.
You said that it's about people breaking into a building to film.
Yeah.
Did you make it more realistic by breaking into the building you filmed in?
We didn't break in. We had permission to be there. The building was rigged for demolition. So when we went in there to make a movie about a bunch of guys where it's very dangerous that they're in a building rigged for demolition, our building was actually set to be demolished in the 3rd week of our production.
But it wasn't rigged at the point when you started.
But not rigged in the same way as it was no explosions.
Yeah.
This was this was wrecking ball stuff.
Oh, you
Oh,
didn't.
okay.
So it was.
Because
Yeah.
there is a part where they see the explosions all on the wall. I thought maybe you kind of walked in. I don't even need to dress this up. It's fine. It's
You
all
know
done.
what? No. That was us, and because as I was putting those posters up, I was like, who the fuck would put posters advertising their own demolition company in a building that's gonna be demolished? There's no one in there. But it says something about the character, I guess.
So how was it actually shooting at night for the majority of the time, right?
Yeah, it was the whole. I think there were only a couple of days we did that weren't nights, and those are funny enough. Those are the hardest because those are the ones where we, we were coming off nights.
Oh, so you
So I remember sort of saying to Michelle Parkin, my producer, and Alex Shipman, my script supervisor, sort of my brain during this whole sort of process. I was like, guys, I can't drive everyone today, so you guys need to do that. I'm going to concentrate on what we're shooting and just make sure we get that. And that was when we were shooting all the scenes that take place in the air vent.
Yeah.
Which I think qualifies as a set because it was built for us to put cameras in, and it was my favourite thing ever. It was just so. It looked. I was watching. Fuck! This looks like a real movie. this is great. And we resisted the Die Hard shot.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got Die Hard vibes as soon as I saw the vent. I was like, oh.
They're going to do the same thing everyone else does when they get an event.
And we all did that.
Yeah. No, you just didn't record it.
Yeah, we just put it in film. But no, it's so much fun making the movie. I think, in fact, when we were shooting it, because I used to work nights when I was younger, and I remember going, "Oh, this is okay. Your body adjusts, and it's fine."
Yeah.
So I prepped everyone and said, "Hey, it's gonna be fine. We'll get through this." I think on the 3rd night, I turned to my special effects and atmospherics guru, and it was also my girlfriend, and I just said, "I fucked up. I don't know what the fuck. I fucked up big time. I can't fucking do this. This is insane. I'm fucking dying. I can't do this for another 2 weeks. Okay, everyone, let's go. Okay." And then when we went and shot the first sort of action sequence where Donnie takes on all the goons and the rest of them are fighting in that little corridor section. Yeah, so that was a tough.
I remember the commentary for Ghost Town, the Ricky Gervais film.
Yeah.
On the thing, he's talking to the director saying, "I'm so glad I did this film before I shot my film because I hated night shoots. I just read them out of my script entirely."
Yeah,
it's words to live by. I think if anyone's been on a.
Do you know what? It was, the night thing. It was because it wasn't just to be like some sort of douchebag director trying to make everyone feel what it was like to work.
You weren't doing The Revenant.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the case of that. It was more the it was a very loud area.
Right.
So if we were shooting, we would never have made it. We would never have sounded as isolated as it would have. Yeah, it just would have been far too impractical. And of course, all those windows that we had to tape up, which we did do on the days where we were in during days, and that in itself was a huge ordeal. So to switch locations would have been very impractical. But at night we just go, okay, let's go over there now. We're going to shoot this next bit over there. And in some cases, I think in one case we time was short, so I said, look, we're done in this room. We're wrapped in this room. If we smash down that wall, move a light, it'll look like a totally different room if we put the camera over here. So we just did that, and that saved us about 40 minutes. It was amazing how much a really tired crew found the energy to kick down a couple of walls. Because we had no sledgehammers, it was all kicking down walls. I was like, just be careful. careful now. And we used Nicky Evans' character had a boom pole, which was mine, and I was using that just like to wreck this like big sheet of glass. And I'm going to smash this, and it wouldn't, because it was causing reflections. I remember Tom Barker, my cinematographer, those reflections are a nightmare. So I'll just crack them so you have that spider web shit all over it. And Tom's like, oh, can I do it? So we all took turns like smashing this boom pole against. It was a lot of fun making that movie. I don't know if we got time to do that. We had an armor down, so we had some blanks for a couple of scenes. And Michelle Parkin's like, you can't shoot any of this stuff, right? And I went, okay, well. So I sent a runner outside and said, can you do me a favour and tell me if you hear the gunshot? So she shot one blank, And they went, not too much to be honest. The generator's making more noise. I went, okay, guys. So we all got in and we all started loading Glocks with these blanks, just started like firing them. Really. And we shot it all. We put it all on. We shot it like super slow motion.
Yeah.
Because it would be cool. No place right in the film. But we got blanks, we got armor.
You've got to use it.
You have to do something.
You've got to do something to keep yourself awake during that.
Yeah. It definitely won't.
If someone sleeps on set, you just go up to them with a blanket right in their ears.
Well, that was because we had a really good time with we had a lot of young people working on the film in like decent roles, not just runners. Yeah. So one of the camera assistants who ended up doing a lot of visual effects in the film, Ollie, he was filming me doing this thing with the Glock, and I was like, here we go, and he was filming it. And he jumped so high. And he said his ears were killing him for about a day after that. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Ollie. We're nowhere near it, but those things are loud.
They can be.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a pretty echoey environment, right?
Yeah. We got a good relationship with our armourer as well, and I think he likes to fuck with me sometimes. We're putting like the really loud.
The Michael Mann ones.
Yeah, he's like, Jesus Christ, just suck the air out of the atmosphere. It's so loud. I was like, oh. But it was really, really good time making that movie. I absolutely loved it.
And with the action, a lot of the kung fu and the exciting stuff as well, shooting that, choreographing that.
That was, because I think the fun with the action was, and again, there wasn't much time to rehearse that stuff. So, we didn't really have the budget to do much. So what JP would do is there was this gym that we had access to. And so I would go there, we'd shoot the previs, so we'd have a rough idea of the angles. Yeah. And then I could familiarise myself with the camera moves and solve any problems or try and flag anything. And then we just went and we just said, right, we're doing this shot now. And we tweak things as we go, and just little things in the fights we'd like to tweak, because JP and me loved John Wick, so the action in John Wick at least. And and what we thought was like, oh, look, if we do this, it'll be great. And he choreographed all this action where he shoots all these henchmen in the head. I'm like, dude, you can't kill them. Your whole arc is like, you accept the fact you must have to kill at some point. Like, and I was like, well, you don't just shoot these guys in the head because they're gonna have lines. It's like, they're people too. So that was really fun. And I remember him getting really. He got a bit irritated with me. He went, oh, you ruined the choreography. I said, no, I didn't. So I was pointing this at his head. I slightly moved my hand to the right. I went, there you go, shoulder. Done. We're fine. We're okay. But no, it was really good fun sort of working on that stuff. And the one that really impressed me the most is the knife fight. There's a knife fight in the film. And those guys, because Hong was in Manchester, he didn't get a chance to actually rehearse the fight with JP. Okay. I couldn't. I was doing something else, so I wasn't able to get to the previs shoot. So it was basically JP just locked his camera up and said, this is kind of what we're going to do. Yeah. So I was not familiar with that fight until we were shooting it. And only when we were shooting it was I was doing all the stuff I was doing a previs. So if we move over here and do this would be better. And if I can climb up here and get a top-down angle, that might be more interesting. Things like that. And but they never rehearsed. They did a little bit over Skype.
Oh, wow.
And then they came down and they just crushed it. I think it's my favourite fight.
It's a really good sequence.
It's lovely to watch that one play out with an audience as well. So oops, my mic was pointing down that whole time. Shit.
It was just thinking about all the possible henchmen that died. It was getting sad.
I'm loud. Hopefully that was all right.
That'll be fine.
Oh shit, it's going again.
It's not me producing.
Keep an eye on
it. When it comes to action, guns, knives, blunt instruments. What's your favourite kind of fight sequence?
It was interesting because for me, I wanted all of them to be different emotionally. Yeah. So the way we figured it out was that each the first sequence is the movie, so it's completely exaggerated, mental, fake nonsense, and that's the one I like the least, I think, because my worry with that was I wanted something really big and exciting to open the movie and something exaggerated so we can enjoy it and sort of set the tone, even though this is the tone of the film within the film and not the actual film. Yeah. I wanted something that would be, get us in the right sort of emotional space. Plus a few of the story points we were squeezing in there as well that come up later. Sure. But there was no emotional weight to that. That's just like a firework display of action. And I think
It's
we
style.
and what was great about that was the sound guys, because Ben at Aquarium had really worked this amazing sound design in it, and it changed everything so much. And I was like, oh, this feels great to me now. And then of course our first one is the fun action scene versus all the goons, but then I wanted each action sequence then to change emotionally. So I mean, there were great things like Adam Langston did a great piece of action score for the first fight with the goons, but when JP then is fighting Marcus and Hong, more worthy opponents,
Yes.
it's the same theme, but it's played in a different there's a different vibe to it, it's a different tone to it. So it's almost more dangerous.
Okay.
And then Ben changed the sound effects, so they sounded like fucking rockets, and I love that. So that really elevated that action sequence.
Yeah.
And it sort of went on like that, really, with the sound and everything sort of grew and developed. And of course, by the end of the film, we have quite a lot of fun with sound effects. And there's a bit where a door opens and you hear the familiar sort of squeaky sound that's like in libraries. And I thought, well, look, as the more we get into the film and more it's a film about filmmaking, I thought it'd be fun to start bringing those sounds into it.
Right.
Not a single Wilhelm. They didn't
I
even
was just about
try.
to- yeah,
they
I
didn't
was
try, and I was really impressed because Wilhelm's great.
That's so easy.
Yeah, it's had its.
It almost takes you out of the movie when it's going, oh, I recognise the scream.
Yeah. I'm more of the, what's that one called? You know that one?
Yeah. It's like a very primal yell.
I would have loved that one. That was a great one. But yeah, if that makes sense. I was waffling a bit then, wasn't I? Sorry, guys.
To me, this is good stuff. I don't know who's listening here, but to me, this is all interesting.
Shit, my mother might be listening. I've said cunt already. This
Again,
is terrible.
Again.
God, that's the one word that I've managed to not
Do you want me
say.
to edit a version where I just bleep out those words all kind of shrubble wobble? Like Missy Elliott style.
Yeah, like
The mother cut.
Yeah,
You do have fun use of the word cunt in the film, though.
it's
I mean, its first use with Richard Sandling's line is perfect. The coffee line.
Oh,
Yeah.
that Adam McNabb. Yeah, he says the coffee thing because right, me and my girlfriend have a very we really take the piss out of each other.
How lovely.
quite a lot, and I guess if our self-esteem was low enough, it'd be gaslighting, but we're all right. So it's fine. But she gives me she takes the piss out of me quite a lot in a very lovely way, and I think she attempts to make me coffee in the morning sometimes, and it never goes well. And I think that line actually came out of Jesus Christ. If being called a cunt had a flavour, it would taste like this cup of coffee right here. And she loved that. So so she kept sort of teasing me with bad cups of coffee. but no, it was, and of course she's like a northern lady, and so the word has lost a lot of its impact for me, as she says it a lot in very funny ways. So I think we threw it into the film quite a lot, and a lot of it was some of it was improvised, some of it I was surprised I'd written, because this is the thing with me. I'll write this stuff, and then I'll give the script to Alex Shipman. She'll go through the scenes with the actors. The actors will sort of play with suggestions, and then I'll look at the scene when the cameras are set, and we'll figure things out. And I'll go, okay, we'll change this, we'll go back to this, or you meant to say something else there, and that's how we sort of go through it. And I think So I forget very quickly what I've written and what the actors have improved upon. So there are a couple of lines in there, and I was like, oh my God, I wrote that shit. But that said, it's not that it's written in any way that's interesting or good. It's delivered brilliantly by the actors.
Right, yeah. It's always the actors.
Yeah, it's always. Yeah. And in the case of We Make Cinema, You Cunt, which is my favourite one.
Was that the end of the trailer at some point?
Yeah, I threw it at the end of the trailer.
It's just creepy.
It's the bit where when my parents watch that trailer, I just gotta go just cough over it so they don't hear it, because but they're very supportive, and if you'd be saying no, oh God, I'd be grounded or something when I go home for Christmas. With that line, what was written in the script was, we make cinema, if there's any art form with blindfold, this is it. And I was like, oh, that's a bit hokey. I think I'm going to cut that. And Adam McNabb went, oh, do you want to try it? And I said, I don't know how that could sound good. I don't know what I was thinking. And he said, and then Nicky Evans said, oh, why don't you do it like that bit in Dead Man's Shoes where he says, what are you looking at? You cunt. It's like, why didn't you just do it like that? You cunt. And I thought, that's amazing. Let's try it. And I fucking laughed so hard. It took us about 10 minutes to get him to say that one bit. And Adam was like, Mark, you can't be anywhere within my peripheral because I can see your shoulders bouncing. And I said, Adam, please, we just got to get one. And he got that one. And I was like, that's it. We're great. And then, of course, the rest of the line falls in. And I think it's those moments where, because I'll never get to see the film as an audience. I'll never have that experience. Right. The closest I'll come is when we're making it, finding those surprises, finding those lovely moments. So that, to me, like, that's why I think I love those moments in the films, like finding a way to make them work and put them in the film in a way that fits for me in that moment, that I hope then carries on into a single viewing experience for someone for the first time or the second time or the third time. Anyone dares watch it more than once.
So the art to great comedy is to rip off Dead Man's Shoes.
I would say that bit, yeah.
Not brutalised brother, not miserablest locations.
I got you right there. That's you. Yeah, I love it. It's no, we had so much fun, like sort of playing with that stuff. That was a nice thing. You had even though we felt we didn't have time, it's such a rushed, hectic schedule because we shot the film in 17 days. Jesus. We had to, it's important to find those moments, otherwise there's no point. There's absolutely no point. And we were good. We were okay at sticking to schedules. I mean, my producer was great, so every time I'd come up and say, shit, we struggled with a scene today, she'd always be very, very cool. I found out recently that she overrams a schedule because she knows I'll see her and go, fuck, keep working. And she told me this when I was producing with her on something else, and I went, oh, that's so I feel less guilty at the end of the day if I'm like, fuck, I'm a scene behind. She like, it's alright, we'll do tomorrow. It's like, that was always the plan. But
she just wants to create anxiety in a director.
I you know what, it's again, I'm a pain in the ass. I phone her up, I'm on the phone for hours just gossiping and not being productive at all, and so I think it might be a very productive revenge. So at least I work quick.
It's worth it in the end.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Now, when it comes to your actors, you pinning out all these characters, the mobsters, the crew, the crews as they are. The
crews, yes.
Where do you go for? Where do you go for to find good people?
I think I've been working in film. In a way, it feels seriously since like around about Collins. It's been about 10 years. Okay. And more than that, in fact. Sorry, it says about 12 years. So yeah, it's from when we started making Colin.
Okay,
the time it took to
don't
get
make me feel too old.
Yeah. But you meet actors, and I get to know actors quite well, and I know I get a sort of rapport with them, and I know what they can bring to a role. So like, I don't audition. I realize I don't think like even the guys who are in this who are new, the guys I hadn't worked with before, like Ben Shafik and Nick Aaron, I didn't audition those guys. I just met them for a beer and had a conversation, and I was like, okay, yeah, I think I can work with you guys. You guys seem like fun. So it's stuff like that, really. But then guys like Adam McNabb feels like one of those little lovely gifts that I've got that no one's aware of. Because like Adam's an amazing actor, but he just isn't. He does a lot of theatre stuff,
which no one watches because
and same thing with Caitlin Reardon, and who played like Jen, the cinematographer in the film. And so people don't know these guys from much because they would rather do theatre. I don't know what I do to talk them into this, certainly in the case of Caitlin and Rosie Holt jumping on a plane from Canada to come over and do a film and stay up all night for 2.5 weeks. So yeah, it's I think you just meet those guys. I know when I was writing it, I thought, oh, Caitlin, there's an opportunity here for us to do something together. Would you want to do it? She went, send her over. I'd love to have a look. And she was keen. Adam McNabb, same thing. I worked with Misha on Don Brunt's Attack of the Adult Babies.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't do anything on that.
You were just there.
I don't want to talk about the film I was kicked off, but I was kicked off a movie, and and I was really grumpy. So Don Brunt said, "Oh, why don't you just come up and hang out with us? I'm making a movie called Attack the Adult Babies." I said, "Cool. What do you want me to do? I don't do some crew shit. I don't know."
That sounds like it's directing.
I went, all right, and I went, I'll do some. I think they got me down as like a second AD. I went, okay, so what the fuck do they do? And I was like, so they went, okay, so I was there working the schedule. Of course, I didn't do that. There was a much more competent person in the office who was doing it. And I was just going up to the makeup department and saying stuff like, okay, what time would you need people tomorrow if we wanted to be on camera with this time? And it was interesting because I'd never really seen that side of it.
Yeah.
Because when you're organising it yourself.
When you're the king, you don't care about the serfs.
It's more that in ours, because I've got to organise all this stuff myself usually, well, until, of course, you find amazing producers like Michelle Parkin. So it's just something you kind of go, right, this is, I'm involved with it to a degree, and, you know, Michelle writes it down in something that looks sensible and clearly thought out. Always professional. So that was, but I met Misha on that. And it was just, you know, of course we know Rich Sandling. I think Rich is how we met, I think.
Yes,
right? Is a screening of Monkey's Claw, which is a film I got a few of my friends together to make. I said, look guys, we should all make a film because this would be fun. So we made this Ninja Siege in a pub and shooting movie.
I'm sorry.
It's great. It's a lot of fun.
Which is again, it was just like a clusterfuck of mates getting together and having fun.
It seems like a proper lark.
That's where I met Adam McNabb. So he was only meant to be like an extra.
Yeah.
And then I thought, why didn't you have one? We'll give him a line. So we shot him to give him a line, and greedy fucker as he is, he just spouts off this monologue. That's the funniest monologue I've heard in my life. And me and Alistair Curtin were sort of directing that shot, because there were a few directors on it.
Yeah.
Me and Alistair Curtin were directing that shot, and we just ran right to the other side of the pub because we were ruining it because he was laughing. He was making us laugh so much. And so Adam was someone I very quickly became like enamored with as an actor.
Yeah.
And so and I thought, well, I wrote Marshall specifically for him. In fact, I wrote Marshall and Harper, the bad actor, the irritating actor character, for him as well, so that you could do either of these. I don't know which one. What would you prefer? You sort of went,
what's the meteor role?
Yeah, I think it's definitely sort of the Marshall character.
Yeah.
And I think I love it. I love how he handled it. That was a waffle, wasn't it? Sorry, Jesus Christ.
That's what you're here for. It's an interview. If you're not here to waffle, what's the point? Yeah, I like the film. Cool. Yeah. Goodbye.
Can you tell us about the writing process? How long did it take? How did you get into the writing zone?
The thing with the writing was that I was at a point where I wanted to make the film really quickly, because the film had been kicked off, was getting completed by someone else, and I was like, I have to make another film, otherwise psychologically I'm going to be destroyed. Because so there was this effort on my part to get the film made, and so I was so eager to get it done. I said, look, there won't be a script. This is the structure. We'll make the movie. We'll improvise it. I've done it before. We did it on Magpie. I thought, let's give that a go. And I think someone was looking at financing. He was like, there's no way I'm giving you money without a script. So I had to quickly write the script. So I wrote the script really quickly in a couple of weeks. I think it took about 3 weeks, and then just to get that first draft. With some paper draft really, and then after that I sort of like started cleaning it up and tidying it up, and in that things like the Tune payoff moment that I really, really love, with the runner throwing. Try not to ruin it in case anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Be careful.
That was one of the things I went, oh God, I shouldn't have that in there. I don't think I'll have time for that. And was it really serving ultimately in the story? Which was like, that's how tired I was, leaving out like the best moments and the best moments of the film. So
just go for what's logical, and that's what you can do.
Yeah, but no, I wrote it quite quickly, and then those bits were sort of put in, and I just enjoyed that process of writing. I tried to do the hero's journey structure, but I couldn't choose a character that I wanted to be that character. It's like logically it would have been Misha's character, the runner, who would have been sort of maybe the one least familiar, but I thought it was more interesting to have it play as an ensemble and have an action and a consequence, and every time they solve a problem it creates more problems.
It's a to and a fro, and it always keeps you engaged, because it's just like each scene is, where's it going to go now? It's exciting that way.
That's what I was hoping for, that's I really wanted to try and get with it, and I had the best time, like, kind of writing that stuff and going, now we'll do this, and because all right, if I go back and put that there, now this will make even more sense. And
that's the best kind of writing, when you realise you can go back and sort your problem out, make it even better.
Yeah, when I speak to like friends of mine who struggle with something they're writing, I was like, mate, you just skip ahead. Just put a big bold paragraph saying something here to connect this to, and then write the next bit.
Absolutely.
And I do that a lot, and then sometimes so the words on paper draft did have big sections going, at this point this happens to this character, so there'd be a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because I find that easier to. You could. It's like you always redraft.
Sure.
And that made redrafting easier. So yeah.
I was just going to ask: do you have a preference then with whether it's working with the script when you're actually getting around to filming? Do you prefer to work with less of a script and sort of improvise around it, or?
Do you know what? It's the strange thing is, as soon as I get on, I never look at a script. I'm just like, get out of here. It's like,
I'm like that with anything I write, to be honest.
Yeah.
Once I've written it, I'm not looking back. Otherwise, I'm deleting it all.
yeah, it's. I mean, that's the beauty of having like script supervisors like Alex Shipman on Nightshooters and on the Western, Gabby Wood. Like they would come up to me and say, "You've written this," and I'll just go, "Ooh, yeah, we're doing this now instead. This is fine." And they're like, "Okay."
But it's nice to have a plan that everyone can go to. And
Yeah,
adjust when it comes to you.
They're brilliant because they hassle me relentlessly, because these are really young women. Like I worked, like I taught them essentially.
Yeah.
On some BFI course, and now they're in this position where they're in charge of me, and they don't let me get away with anything.
They know how you work.
I'm there going like, please, it's gonna be fine. It's like, you're gonna tell me where it's gonna be fine, or I'm not going to go away. And I'm like, okay, what's the problem if we do this? And they say, well, if you do this, you've already shot that. I'm like, okay, that will be fine. Let's do that. So, it's never a case of me losing what I'm trying to do. It's just, I have to, they're the only people that I can't get away with saying, trust me. Like, everyone else is like, oh, just trust me, it'll be fine. This is the best way to do it. They go, nah, bullshit, tell me. And so I have to find the time. And it's kind of nice in a way for me to see that evolution from student to
master,
in charge of me. And and it sucks in a way, because when you start teaching them, you get like, they're like, oh, they're really like interested in things you have to say, and they admire everything you've got to say about filmmaking. And then they work on one film and you're like, oh, there's no respect anymore. They're like, oh, you're just a clusterfuck of random thoughts. So it's it's still kind of, but I don't really have an ego in that sense, because if it wasn't for those guys, the films would fail miserably, because they wouldn't make any sense and I'd screw things up. So yeah, it's fun.
Is that an anxiety you have over you all the time, screwing everything up?
Oh yeah, that's the thing, is always like, I think my big one is like, I just look at the films and go, fuck, did I get away with that? Okay, I might have got away with that. That's it. And that's like the best I can do with them. I can't look at them and go, oh yeah, I'm pleased with that. I'm happy with that. I mean, I'm happy to a degree with the films that are released. Or I say released, hang on, this finished.
Right.
And then,
Tell us picture locked, you can't actually go back inside anymore. You're like, okay, no, hand off.
Yeah, and even then it's kind of like, I'll screen it for a few people. I go, oh, well, let me tweak a few things. Because, it's when you screen it for people, whether it's in the living room or whether we get a lot of people together, like the BFI screening.
Yeah.
Those things are, that's when I can't stop it. I have to look at it and see how it works and go, ooh, okay, we have a problem. And you know what? It's been tuned to the point where I would like to take a few things out. Not scenes, just a few trims here and there. But, it was a very fast turnaround. I mean, we were shooting this thing. It hadn't been written at this point last year.
Yeah.
So, so then we shot in like November, December last year.
Yeah.
It was finished a couple of months ago. So it's been finished for quite a while now. And even though
I remember being shocked that it was already finished and ready to screen. It just seemed like, oh wow, I just saw it on Facebook a couple of weeks before you were talking about all the random shit you were doing.
Yeah, it's I did 2 films features this year. There was another one. There's a Western called Fistful of Lead that we did. That's I think Sony US have, and that should be out before
legitimate.
Nightshooters. We shot that in February, March.
Yeah.
So this is you watch it and you'll go, oh, like, clearly this was fucking spaffed out.
Sony US, clearly it was fucking spaffed out.
But
It can be on poster.
That'd be the review code. Clearly spaffed out in a couple of months. Yeah, so it's but like, I don't know. It's to me, it's been a great year, and I think that's because of, I think, the team we've had around us. There was a lot of the same team from Nightshooters worked on Fistful of Lead.
So you kind of had to back and forth. You knew the language together.
Yeah, and we also had the added benefit of the solar system being our AD telling us what time we had to finish. Because by about 4 o'clock we had to stop shooting because the lighting didn't work when we were shooting outside. And
that's when you were revenanting it.
we were, yeah. And it was because was it Beast from the East, the big snowstorm.
Oh yes.
So we ended up with so much production value. It was amazing. But everyone that worked the night shooters was like, this is easy. We're up at a reasonable hour. We're going home at a reasonable hour. We can even have a couple of drinks at the end of the day. This is fantastic. So that was quite, it was brilliant. I had such a good time making that film. That was by far one of the easiest shoots because we'd learned so much on Night Shooters, and I was like, right, I don't want to get tripped up here. And there were only, I think, 2 hard days on that, where we were juggling quite a lot, and I was like, ooh, this is tricky. This is hard. Okay, we'll get there, and then we did. We always did. So it was a success,
as they say.
Yeah, and it's
you finished a film. That's in itself.
Yeah, and it's nothing like Night Shooters. It's much like, it's not like I went, fuck, let's do the shot that we did on Night Shooters because I'm tired and I can't think of one. It was, everything in that was laid out the same way as we did in Night Shooters. Like, no, this is the most appropriate way to shoot this, and so you wouldn't look at them as necessarily as companion pieces, other than if you were to watch them together, just in terms of pace.
Because they are.
Time. And I was really pleased with that. But again, I don't know. I think I might have said to you after the Night Shooter screening is that this is great when you watch it with an audience and everyone's making all the noises you want them to make in the right places. They're in stunned silence in the places where you don't want them to make any noise, and you can hear the gasps and the oohs and the other points. That's great. They're making all the right noises in all the right places, but it doesn't mean it's good. And it's like that Terry Gilliam thing when he was doing there was 12 Monkeys. He said the same thing. He came out of a test. He was listening to a test screening of it. He went, "This is going amazing," and then all the cards came out. They were terrible. And he went, "What the fuck? They were doing everything we wanted them to do. How can they not like it? It doesn't make any sense." But I think that's just how it is. It's you can have people making all those noises, and I love playing with tone. I love shifting tone. I think I take some risks in Night Shooters.
Absolutely.
But I enjoy them. I liked seeing them.
Sometimes it's like, oh shit, this is going in a place I didn't expect it was going to go.
Yeah,
it's got a satisfying last 25-30 minutes that really just propel it into something great as well.
That means so much, because that's the section that scares me the most. That's the part that I find it the most difficult to watch.
Yeah.
It's the section of the film that I don't really like. When we watch it in screenings, I kind of can't watch it. Yeah, I chip off and hide.
You find a pub.
Yeah, I do enjoy watching the audiences. So I think, but there are parts I can watch and parts I can't.
Right.
And I think it's just out of the sort of fear. Like I did it in Colin. There's the bit where Daisy Aiken's character, Daisy's in Night Shooters as well. Very briefly, she was making a film with David Tennant and Lucy Punch. And she had some time. She said, "I'll come and do a day with you guys.
I'll do your film as well."
It's like, I'll have time off from mine. I'll do one of yours. I was like, "Oh, great." So she came down, and but in Colin, there's the scene where she comes back as a zombie, and I remember going, fuck, people are gonna laugh. I've screwed this up. So every time I watched that scene in the cinema, and I was lucky I wasn't at any screenings where anyone laughed, so it played exactly as intended. But it was just too much anxiety. I couldn't watch it, and I think there are a couple of scenes in Night Shooters I just find that a little bit like, fuck, have I fucked this up? But they've played exactly as we want. In fact, the only thing that's gone slightly different is when I'm trying to bring the humor back.
Right.
It's slower than it was when I screened it in my living room.
Okay.
In my living room, people were kind of back a little bit quicker. But then that's the main thing that.
So maybe at home it plays easier to go from the one to the other.
Yeah, it's some people you get them to a space where they don't want to laugh for a while.
That is the thing,
which is the point.
It means you care about the characters. You're really on board with the story.
Yeah, and when the humour comes back, it doesn't damage that instant.
It's been built into the world anyway, so it makes sense. That's the important part of that.
Yeah, it is, and that's fun to me.
Yeah,
that's really fun to me. That's the most fun part, and if you don't take those risks, what's the point? Like, exactly. Like Daisy actually does it in her film. I watched it yesterday. I hadn't seen it. I watched it yesterday, and there was a harrowing scene in it, and I was like, Jesus, this is a fucking comedy. But it doesn't. It's earned. Everything is sincere. So when that moment comes along, it doesn't ruin the film. It doesn't change the film. It's just a tonal shift.
Yeah,
that's so deftly handled. I was, not jealous, because that would make me a prick. But I was a bit like, fuck.
I'll steal that.
I like this. This is like, I hope my stuff works like this. That would be amazing. Maybe I'll make it. It's fine. We're friends.
It's fine.
This one's cinema. Friends, right?
If you don't steal anything, you don't do anything. That's cinema.
Yes.
Quickly on Colin, I remember going to the London Film Museum and seeing the camera there.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
If we were to do like an ocean style heist, would we get money for that?
I doubt it. That thing was fucked. That's why I gave it to him. and there's a lot more valuable stuff in that case, like isn't the cube from Hellraiser.
Oh,
isn't there?
forget about that.
What's that thing called? I love. It's got the coolest name.
I can't. I've had the box set for ages.
You've had
but
the
not
The Lament
used it.
configuration, right?
Yeah.
It's the fucking coolest name for a Rubik's cube that results in your tits getting ripped off by hooks. I'd probably nick that. There's a head from Shaun of the Dead in there as well, unless they change it. But yeah, that camera didn't work. It was starting to damage tapes. So fine. I don't think anyone gives a shit about some cheap piece of shit camera that was used to make a cheap piece of shit zombie movie. I'd love it to, though. That'd be great. If there's any money in it, I'd be like, some people haven't paid me this month, so I need to chase. I need some money.
That's a shame because blueprints were laid out and everything.
Oh.
This could be good.
I would love to see the clusterfuck heist that nicks my shonky camcorder.
Sandra Bullock.
It's worth something, Jesus. I don't think it is.
We're going to do that as a special episode as well. So.
Yeah, we're going to podcast live.
Yeah.
You've never heard a heist happen live
Yeah.
yet. We're going to break new ground.
It'd be one of those. I imagine that like some of the stuff in that you just walk through the laser
yes.
sensors, but nothing will happen. It's like it's only there for effect. Really. We don't give a shit if anyone takes
It's there
this
for
stuff.
cats mainly.
Because there's cat burgers just clawing at the wall at that point.
Yeah, it distracts them long enough.
I know Tom Hooper's cats. I don't know where he's going with it, but
Oh, that film's going to be amazing.
I'm still waiting for Jim Broadbent to be cast. Still waiting for it. It's gonna happen.
Judy then Idris Elba, Jim Broadbent, Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, yeah.
That's going to be a poster.
Yeah.
Would you do a musical?
I don't know. I'm not very good at directing like the dancing stuff.
But in wide shot, close shot.
Yeah,
close
it's
shot.
like
Done.
I kind of lean towards the Scott Pilgrim thing, where like instead of singing, they just fight in a really whimsical fashion. I was like, yeah, let's have that.
West Side Story. You could just do West Side Story, and suddenly it becomes really brutal.
Mamma Mia 3.
I think Spielberg is doing West Side
He's
Story.
doing West Side Story,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's been banging on about musicals for like 50 years now, and he's making one. I was like, oh, I'm kind of really curious.
Been making a song and dance about it.
That's beautifully played.
I mean,
Other than that,
It's like we rehearsed that. We didn't. That was
Put it
natural.
on
well, you did that over Skype, and then you came down from Manchester.
Change a few things as we were doing it.
We haven't got much time left, so let's just remind everyone. Nightshooters,
November 9th.
8:15.
Hyde Park Picture House in Leeds.
Boom.
Teamwork.
There you go. That's great. Oh,
Yeah.
That's what I fucked up at the beginning. We have an arc now. The podcast. By the end, I learned.
A satisfying finale.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's proper stuff. And you've been at a couple of festivals before. How have they been received?
Yeah. Well, it's this screened twice at Raindance.
Okay.
And because at the BFI screening, that was one. This is the interesting thing with the films. I thought that was a screening for friends, basically. So you're gonna be. It's gonna be kind. It's gonna be a kind, warm reception, unless I bore them so much. So it's hard to judge that one. But then Raindance, there were fewer people I knew there for both screenings.
Yeah.
Less in the second screening, and it played exactly the same. And then in Mayhem, which is one of my favourite festivals. That was in Nottingham. It played exactly the same, but like louder. Like it was so much louder. I think there were a lot more people in there. I think like 150 tickets or something had been sold.
Oh, nice.
I was like, holy shit, because I expected no one to show up. And so yeah, it was absolutely incredible. And I mean, the same thing at Raindance. Again, I sort of expected no one to show up, but it was really nice, full cinema. And I was like, oh shit, this is great. So it's because I want audiences to hear it. I want audiences to sort of, because I was speaking to JP, who I saw that he didn't see it. I said, but did you hear how it played? Like, you do this one thing, with the knife fight, like how that kind of gets this lovely burst of applause, like so far at all the screenings. And I was like, oh my God, that's so exciting. Like, do you know about this? He's like, yeah, I hear it. And I thought, oh, that's kind of great. It's like, that's the sort of stuff you want, really. I was telling Misha as well, because she hasn't seen it yet.
Okay.
Like, her tear moment is the biggest reaction, I think, in the film. It's terrible. I've oversold it now. People watching it go, oh, is that all they did? but it gets...
It works.
It like, the way she... I was telling her, she's like, oh, that's so exciting. Because I don't even think she's seen that bit yet. Because I keep sending the actors clips, but I don't think I sent her that one.
You're making her really wait for that.
I think I kind of can't wait to, because in Leeds she's doing the Q&A with us.
Okay,
I can't wait to watch her watch that and just see how excited she gets.
So that's why you should go and buy a ticket so you can watch actors watch it.
Yeah, it's great. That's a good.
It's like Gogglebox in the cinema.
Yeah, but I'm chewing my fist the whole time, going, "Oh God, be okay."
Does it get easier the more times it screens, or do you still have that same anxiety about it?
I think I've got anxiety with the bits I haven't watched. I struggle to watch with an audience just because, but not necessarily the bits you'd think. It's just bits that I'm not too keen on. Because that happens, there's things.
Nothing's perfect. That's what cinema is.
And so there's bits I'm going to go out here for a bit, but I think seeing those reactions, they're consistent, and I have a horrible feeling I didn't answer the question.
No. I was just wondering if you have that same anxiety of that same fear of like an audience, a new audience watching it, or is it like you go in and you're like, well, I've seen a bunch of different audiences watch this and it's been fine, so it's all right. Yeah,
it feels like I'm data collecting at the moment. So the anxiety's still there, but they're going, okay, that bit still gets a laugh. That's pretty good. I'm enjoying watching the beginning of the film a lot and how it switches into, transitions into Nightshooters, and I enjoy that. And that first long shot that we've got.
Gorgeous piece, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy watching that and seeing all the characters come out and how people react to Nikki's character and Adam's character. I think that's great. That's really exciting to me. And then the bad guys. The bad guys are fun. Yeah. So I like a lot of that stuff. It's the anxiety is always there. I don't think it'll ever go away, but I think that's the it's offset by the satisfaction of hearing the reactions that you want to hear, and because after Monkey's Claw, that was the thing I came away from going, oh my God, this is so much fun.
People can like films.
Listening to people enjoy it. Yeah, if you can get them to a place where they can really get excited by something. And Monkey's Claw was just having fun. Yeah. But I think with Nightshooters, it was like it was a quest to get that reaction at the same time as doing all the personal stuff that I like to do, which is why you have those moments that are a little bit sort of...
There's more intimacy and more actual human drama inside.
Yeah. I like having the tones fluctuate in a way that... So it's amazing to hear that, and when you hear a pin drop, you're like, Jesus Christ, this might work. And then you get to the next one, you go, ooh, what am I doing now? And then you hear them howling with laughter, you go, Jesus Christ, this is fucking incredible.
They're still on board.
And then it's always a relief, like every single time. There's no point where I go, yeah, I did it. Not at all. It's the opposite. It's fuck, I got away with it. I think that's how I see all of my films.
You're an imposter. Sitting there
I can get away with it. Oh God.
So if they can't get to Leeds, which you definitely should because it's gonna be a great Q&A. When's the film available for most people?
It's been shifting the release dates, but I think the one that's locked in at the moment is 26th of December.
Boxing Day.
Boxing Day one, yeah.
Let's hope that sticks.
Any
So if you have a bad vouchers, you get to have a really good time afterwards.
I mean, I went to see one Boxing Day. I went to see The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo with Mum, Dad, and my sister. So
that was a kick up the arse.
Yeah. Well, I was going, and then everyone just invited themselves. I was like, I'm still going. I'm excited about seeing this. I don't care who I see it with. I'm seeing this movie. Yeah, it wasn't so fun.
So you're saying it's good family films?
Yeah.
Boxing Day's classics. You should definitely watch this with your family. Bring the kids.
Yeah.
But we should have shoved a Christmas tree in there, and it would have been like a Christmas movie or something like that.
It's the new Die Hard.
That would be another Die Hard reference. Yeah, like the Shane Black type reference.
I mean, the kids have got to learn the word cunt someday.
They absolutely do.
Why not on Boxing Day?
Yes. The family will say it all Christmas Day anyway. Now you know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be fun. But like Fistful of Lead is out on December 6th, so it's like both Christmas movies. There's snow in that one. So it qualifies as a Christmas movie. It's just like The Thing.
Do you want me to just throw in a couple of Christmas trees into a trailer and just get away with it? Have one mistletoe sticking down, that's fine. That'll do.
The gangsters. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, should I kiss you, mate? It's the rose, isn't it? The rose.
I fucking bet you have to. Eh?
Whatever accent that fucking was, I was just
Yeah,
trying
no,
to...
that was Welsh Cockney. It's fine.
Wockney.
You're right, governor. So where can we find you if you want to be found online? If you do.
Oh, I do. Yes, I'm on Twitter and Instagram. It's at Marc_V_Price.
That's right, underscores, which is part of our brand.
Yeah, you know what, it was my when I got Twitter, I was just like, oh, okay, underscores. They won't ever become annoying.
That's right, Johnny. Where can we find you on Twitter?
movie_mad.
Yes,
This
there's
is
one
the underscore
underscore.
family.
Because movie mad was taken. I'm still determined to get that.
But
one day.
underscore is
'Cause I don't-
in. Look at you
Yeah,
two. I'm just
underscore is
Ethan
in.
Runt. There's nothing there. I should go underscore at some point.
You found something great though.
I know.
That you didn't need any underscores. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, great. If no one chooses it, is it great or is it just awful?
well, you know, it's how I nearly called you Ethan when we
Oh,
when we
yeah,
met,
no.
Andrew.
Everyone does. It's fine.
In my phone, he is Ethan, and I still just always think of him as Ethan.
Well, at least-
I have an Ethan look to me. Me and Tom
At
Cruise.
least it wasn't Ethan Cunt.
Yeah,
It's
no.
gonna be
I was 10 when I found
Oh,
it. I hadn't seen Nightshooters yet. Kids these days, they'll be calling themselves Ethan Cunt all over the place.
So what if that one's free?
It's a very specific porn fetish. And with that, I think we have to say goodbye. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Are You Movie Mad is part of the Podnose Network, the UK's leading independent entertainment podcasting network. Produced and edited by Andrew Jones, executive producer George Grimwood. To find out more about Podnose's network, go to www.podnose.com.